Howdy, I'm B. Let me welcome you to the Beer Snobs Radio Show. We're a bunch of friends who are not experts, but we know we like in beer. Our definition of a beer snob is someone who just won't drink craft beer. So sit back and listen to us blind review beers on the Beer Snobs Radio Show.
Calling out beer snobs. How you guys doing tonight? I am B, and to my left is
Brian.
Across the table,
Big Rob.
and to my right,
Daemon.
hey guys, guess what we got now? Beer news with Daemon.
Thanks a lot. I got a couple stories. I'm combining several articles to do these stories because I think they work really well together. The first one, starting off with thestreet.com by Jason Knott. Why ingredients don't appear on beer labels?
I never noticed that.
Yeah, it's actually something they've worked very hard to hide.
That makes sense. How different is one beer from another if it, other than their ingredients?
But you see, that would be the thing. If they weren't so different, then why not? Why not reveal the ingredients? I mean, you're not showing amount. Just reveal. But this is basically there is a total of 8 things that are allowed to have on a beer label legally. The first is the brand name, obviously. Second, size of the container, type of beverage. So, it has to say it's a beer or what type of beer. Name and address of brewer, alcohol content, alcohol terms, like low alcohol, reduced alcohol, non-alcoholic or alcohol free. Apparently that's anywhere from 0.5 to 0. So you could technically have a non-alcoholic beer that has like just a little bit of alcohol in it.
Same thing with root beer.
Kind of, yeah. Additives. If they use yellow dye number 5, saccharin, sulfites, or aspartame, this is, I believe, something that they want on the labels. The the TTB and its predecessor, the Brewer of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, have been responsible for regulating the labeling of any drink that falls under the malt beverage definition.
So St. Ides.
Yeah, stuff like that. They have to, apparently they follow those rules. And the TTB suggests having all these, including a health warning about birth defects and whatnot. Again, the big beer companies have been fighting this for a really long time. Brewers like Anheuser-Busch and Bev, Molson Coors, SAB Miller, and Boston Beer. They, due to online outrage, apparently, are being asked to divulge the list of ingredients, and they are resisting. But that takes me to the next part of the story, which is that a website, foodbabe.com. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard of the Food Babe, or at least have seen her. Oh, you look her up. Hot girl talks about food. And she basically...
My kind of show.
Right? And that's all we need on this show. Just a visual of a hot chick while we talk.
I heard about this story. She seems like a blowhard.
Well, she's one of those people who's like obsessed with food ingredients and stuff like that. But she was basically like saying apparently like her boyfriend or something was a beer drinker. He drank a lot of beer, and she was like, "What's in it?" And he's like, "Well, beer."
Water, malt, hops, barley.
Well,
done.
Yeah, but the thing is that
if you're lucky, now you can add corn and rice.
She did an investigation, and basically there is a large list of ingredients that are allowed in beer that do not need to be divulged. She got this list back, things that, because that's part of how they've hidden the ingredients in beer. There's a lot of stuff that they're allowed to use technically, according to the ATF and the Food and Drug Administration, that they just don't have to show. And so she was like, no, well, then why don't you show? Why don't you put the ingredients up? If it's just the basic beer ingredients, you're being truthful and honest, then just show us. And they resisted. So she started a petition online that got 40,000 signatures in 24 hours.
I bet you half of them are vegan.
I feel like my beer now has yellow number 5.
You know what? That's the thing. Wouldn't that just suck? Some weak ass beers are just like putting like weird food colorings into the beer to try to trick you into thinking it's better quality.
Well,
that bothers me.
Well, I understand where it bothers you at, but I just got finished reading a really great article about Budweiser, actually, and how after InBev bought them out, how their quality has devolved so much. The only thing that brought Budweiser back is because the Budweiser Platinum, it's a 6% alcohol beer.
That is an amazing beer. I cannot believe how they got that 6% out of that beer.
Yeah. So, but
that part's amazing.
Yeah.
But the fact is that the guys that took over Budweiser are making now. Well, it used to be cheap, shitty beer. Now it's cheaper, shitty beer. I mean, they're not using the same quality of hops they used to use. They're not using the same quality of malt they used to use. They probably are using rice and potatoes or whatever else to get make it cheaper to make Bud. And unfortunately, I understand where she's coming from about how I need to know what I'm drinking. I really don't care. You know, what do you fucking do? Unless you put formaldehyde in it. And the reason why I say that is because I went to China. On the beer bottles, does that say not made with formaldehyde? That's kind of awesome.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That is good to know.
So, well, the point is that Food Babe fought, and apparently it got to the point where shares of Anheuser-Busch and SAB Miller and Molson Coors were down, and so they finally caved. And if you go into tapintoyourbeer.com, you'll have the Anheuser-Busch list of ingredients. And apparently the Molson Coors, or Miller Coors, I should say. I don't think Molson Coors has actually spoken up, but they put everything on their Facebook page. So if you're actually interested in seeing what's in that beer, there you go. At least somebody actually got them to do something. I think that's impressive more than anything, because those people don't give two shits about anything.
Okay, you made a giant move. That's awesome. Anybody who's really listening to this show probably doesn't drink the giant beers. You don't give a fuck. You want to get the stuff close to you.
Some of them do.
You want to get the stuff close to you that people are making right then and there.
Hopefully.
And you can go see the whole process at their brewery. You know, breweries around here, we have a couple brand new breweries. You can go walk there and see, hey, look, they're putting in putting the malt in now. They're boiling it now and mashing it. Okay, we can see the process of the beer being made. Now, if somebody does do something unscrupulous, guess what happens? Free market declares that you're not going to make a good beer and nobody's going to buy your crap anymore. So,
which kind of leads into the next story I was going to do, but real quick, just
free market and economy.
Well, no. The second part of the story was Andrew Sakis from thestreet.com, and yeah, Food Babe's website if you're even interested, foodbabe.com. Anyway, next story. It's again another two-parter. Interestingly enough, you know, Anheuser-Busch, obviously bought up by InBev. InBev is technically, it's a Brazilian company. It's how it started. Okay. I don't know if you guys were aware of that.
No.
InBev is a Brazilian company, and apparently the World Cup's going on. Obviously, you know, World Cup and beer, people drink, right?
Yep.
Well, InBev isn't making shit this year for some reason.
Wait, they're not making a profit?
Yeah, that's the weird thing. Beer production is up, and yet the biggest beer maker in the country is down. For a defensive stock in a weak market, smack dab in the middle of the FIFA World Cup, InBev has to be one of the biggest disappointments going for Brazil investors. It's even underperforming Petrobras, which is arguably the most hated stock in Brazil. Despite having a fairly decent year in terms of equity gains, they're down 5% over the last month, which is strange because it's World Cup.
Yeah, you figure that they'd be selling like, you know, $12 pints of that stuff.
Well, you figured that they'd have all the contracts with every stadium they have over there, so you definitely have the beer flowing.
And this is the thing. World Cup has been increasing beer sales all year leading up to this because they're you know, advertising. People have been advertising for a World Cup in support of it. So it's what was it? The following what was it? There was a production drop of 2.6% in 2013 for the major for AmBev, and then beer production overall rose by 11.2%. But then and beer prices have actually risen 10.3%. What this really sounds like to me is that people are buying beer in Brazil.
It sounds like the price of beer in Brazil is going up.
The price of the general price, what people are spending, is going up. What does this sound like? It really sounds like what's going on here and what's going on in Europe, which is craft beer.
Craft beer taking a bigger chunk out of profits than they
Exactly. I've done stories on this before. Craft beer, it sounds like they're just not going for the big beers. People are going for the smaller beers.
Does the story
more
mention
expensive beers?
If there's somebody who's exceeding
You mean good tasting beers?
Well, you see, unfortunately, this story is at Forbes.com, and they don't like to really piss off people. So they don't want to talk about stuff like that, which goes into the next part of the story, which is over from Bloomberg.com, who really doesn't give two fucks.
No, they'll piss off anyone.
Yeah, and that's the Molson CEO. He says that craft beer firms are massively overvalued.
I think he's right, though.
Well, no, this is the thing. He's not. What he's talking about is because Molson, if you aren't aware, they're actually a company that has prided themselves upon buying out certain craft breweries and making them part of their stable. And people have been asking them about, what is the next beer you think you put on your roster? And this is his reaction. He's like, "Oh no, they are way more inflated. They're not worth as much." He's like, basically, he's saying that to constitute buying one of these, the value generated has to be equal to the returns. So if this company is asking for way too much because they value themselves so highly, we can't afford to buy them because we're not going to get as much of a return as we want on it. Well, not like they get on their other crappy, mainstream.
Well, here's the thing about craft beer, and this is what I think is so great about it being such a uniquely American startup. We've been doing this for a couple of years. Is that craft beer actually shouldn't be people who are trying to get nationwide distribution. You should be trying to serve your immediate community to make sure you make a decent living. Now, there's a couple breweries that I know of, like Oak Hills Brewing Company. Open 3 days a week, but they're self-sustained. They're going to expand. I mean, you got other breweries. That's a new brewery that opened in Rancho Cucamonga, Brian.
Oh, Hamilton
Brewery.
Family.
I mean, they're now trying their best to serve a sub segment that is close enough to them people to go drink. I mean, when breweries look at it, they if you open a brewery, I'm sure your main goal is to let everybody in the world taste your beer. Your main goal should be let everybody in my neighborhood think I'm the best damn brewer here and don't want to drink anything else and get that money right there. It should be small business focused where it's more neighborhood and localized instead of being nationwide. And that's the way how you create the impact and make the difference and make a lot of money in it.
Well, again, this isn't exactly that he's talking about that Swinburg over at Molson is talking about. What he's basically saying is that when they approach these craft beer companies and they try to do buyouts, that they're asking for too much.
Yeah, you're taking their livelihood. They want more.
Yeah, well, they're basically saying your dinky little brewery isn't worth that much money. Sell for cheaper. You're massively overvaluing yourself. And he even says, like, they probably won't think that they're overvalued. He says, I'm sure the craft owners would say they're not overvalued. I'm just saying we have to generate value from any purchase we make, and we find it difficult to get the returns we want. So is basically he's just like, he's pissed because obviously mainstream beer is going down the crapper. We've all seen it, like in stories I've done before where 60% drop in sales and in like, what was it? In 5 years, in like the past 5 years for like brands like Budweiser, they're hurting. And then they're saying that beer isn't increasing in sales. People are just buying more craft. They're not buying as much volume of the craft as they did with the major brands. So they're basically saying no, they're not a competition. No, but it's just the dynamics of the market that's changing. But yeah, he's just complaining because he wants a quick buyout. He just wants to be able to pick these people up like they're nothing and own them. And he can't. And he's pissed.
No. I mean, if it was that easy, he would just go buy the equipment, make up his own little craft brewery, and just start it up.
But why bother doing that? Why bother going to all that trouble when you have your huge plants and your armies and your old?
Because they're losing market share, like you said.
Yeah. But they don't want to invest in actually doing that hard work. They'd rather that's a big corporate agenda. Is just you buy out the little guys. Whoever does something interesting, you buy them up, make them a part of you.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're not buying up anybody because they think that they're valued too high, and you back out of the deal, well, you're not going to make much money off of a deal that you didn't
exactly
complete. So
that's why either way he's kind of shooting himself in the foot, but he's throwing an excuse, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
obviously
we'll see how long the shareholders will put up with that.
Oh yeah, we will.
Thank you, Daemon, for giving us an update on the news and a lot of things about the craft beer community. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Guys, we now have our blind taste of the night. So, looks like we got an amberish.
Looks good.
I don't know, it looks orange.
Looks kind of, yeah.
That would be the way to
different
say
kind
it.
of color. Looks orangish. That's true.
It looks orange.
Yeah.
Smells like an American ale.
Smells nice and hot, nice and malty.
It's got a decent head on it. Not too impressive, but decent.
I like this.
The smell is a little, I don't know what to think of the smell. I'll have to dive in.
I like it. I think it's American strong.
Yeah, that's what it smells like. That's kind of what it tastes like.
Yeah. I think I have to agree with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely strong on the malts, and it's got a spice to it.
But I don't get any kind of alcohol kick or anything like that. It seems pretty low in alcohol percentage.
Yeah, this God, it's not really that interesting. I mean, there's a little bit of tang here. maybe a little bit of that spice, but it's very mild, and the flavor dissipates really quick. I mean, it's there and
Except
it's gone.
for the bitterness, it just seems to
So far, the bitterness isn't doing that with me.
linger.
The bitterness hasn't done that with me so far.
Oh, I'm just getting it lingering.
Could it be that it's just your bitterness seeping into the beer?
Probably.
That's a very real possibility.
I understand where you get that bitterness coming in, but I don't think it's that overpowering.
No, it's not
a nice-
overpowering. I just find it to be lingering.
I think it's a nice component to it, though. I like the fact that you get. I love the malt heavy smell. I think that bitterness that lingers is not that bad, though. I mean, I know you tell me it's not. You couldn't pair it well with certain things, but I don't think I want to pair. I think I want to drink this like for the rest. This is like a drink all night beer. You know what I mean?
It is. That lingering, I think it just kind of reminds you what you're doing. It's like, hey, take another sip.
You know,
Yeah.
if this is a flavor that appeals to you, then I could easily see someone session it. Especially the fact that, like I said, the rest of the flavor just goes away, it just runs. So you're not. It's like you're not even.
I mean, I get a lot of wheat and a lot of caramel in there.
I'm not getting much caramel.
Yeah,
I'm getting a little wheat.
I'm
Oh,
getting
definitely,
a lot of
definitely
wheats.
the caramel.
Yeah. I'm not
Because
getting that
it's that American strong taste. That's just that caramel thing is always there.
Yeah, I'm. Although I do have to say, I'm rather bored by this beer.
I kind of agree with you.
Yeah.
Sadly, horribly.
I don't know. I'm with B. I could. It's one of those beers I could drink all night. You know.
Yeah, I dig it. So
Yeah.
who's ready for the reveal?
Oh yeah, I want to know.
Let's go.
What do we got? Robinson Family Brewers Trooper, an extra special strong bitter, a ESB. Oh, so that's what the bitter came from. It's ESB. 4.7, $6 for the bottle.
Wow.
Okay, a beer created by Iron Maiden and brewed by Robinsons. Real ale fan and history aficionado Bruce Dickinson. Wait. Gold Pans Bruce Dickinson? Maiden's vocalist played a major role in developing this unique flavor of beer and trailing the ongoing visits to Robinson's Brewery in Stockport. I'm a lifelong fan of traditional English ale. I thought I died and gone to heaven when we were asked to create our own beer. I have to say I was very nervous. Yeah, I'm fucking done with this.
Yeah.
Thank you for your book.
Story. Shit, God.
I'm sorry. Do you think you're stoned? Let's tell a story.
It's just as bad. I have nothing about the beer here except it's all about how nervous he was when he made the beer and the song Trooper and
alcohol
Heritage.
Alcohol's 4.7.
Yeah,
That sounds about right.
Well, the bottle looks cool. The label's like
the Iron Maiden Trooper
Pretty
looks
chill.
awesome.
Yeah, it's just really handcrafted. But all you know is it's handcrafted. We know nothing. It's just premium British beer, and it pretty much that tastes. That would be a good description. I wish there was more to it.
it's a nice ESB.
And there's
It is nice
there's a
ESB.
lot to read. There's nothing like getting a beer and just having a lot to read on it.
You know what I think?
Nice. I mean,
think-
there's just a whole freaking story back here. Onward, rode the 600, the charge of the Light Brigade, which inspired the Iron Maiden song, The Trooper, blah, 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 blah.
Rob, what do you think?
I think that finding out that it's an ESB really made me understand why I wasn't a big fan. I'm not a big ESB fan. So if you are out there, you might like it while I didn't, because I'm not a big fan of the ESBs.
Apparently I'm not either.
ESB.
You
I
do?
like the Firestone Walker Double Barrel Ale.
That's my favorite.
That's an ESB.
Which is
I
why
know.
you guys were digging it. Okay, I get this now. Because it's the style. The style turned us off more than anything.
Yes.
You guys turned you on. So there
Well,
you go.
and
I'm a little hot bothered.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Oh wow.
Oh, maybe a little bit.
See, I like the fact that what Brian was saying. This is the beer that's telling you we're going to drink. We're not doing anything else but drink this beer. We're not trying to pair it. We're not trying to do anything. We're going to have a good time with it. And I like the fact that it wasn't like we thought it was American strong, and we should have figured it out. The bitter coming in.
Yeah,
over.
that bitter seemed to be killing the strong for me, and finding out it's an ESB made perfect sense.
But it was good. It was really good. I thought I enjoyed this a lot.
I dig it.
Okay. So, we do an up and down vote for who likes the beer, who didn't like the beer. So, Brian, up or down? Do you like it or not?
I'm down for it, dude. Wait, no, that's confusing. I'm up for it. So, I would totally buy this.
Big Rob.
I'm up and out for it. Wait, no, down.
No way.
Damon.
How much was it again?
$6 for the bottle.
Okay, if you're an Iron Maiden fan and you like cool pictures of Eddie, the Iron Maiden zombie guy, I guess spend $6. Don't open it. Just put it on your shelf. Otherwise, downvote. What's inside is not worth it.
I'm upvoting it. I think it's good. Actually, for the price, I think it's a little too much. Like I don't think I can session it. That's $18 for beer for that little bit. But I still think it's something you should try. So I'm upvoting it. So we got 2 ups, 2 downs. So we have a split decision, that's perfect, actually.
And really, it just comes down to taste. If you like ESBs, give this a shot. You'll probably like it. If you don't.
Just like we normally say, right? We taste it, you decide.
That's right. So, guys, I'm B from the Beer Snobs, and I'll see you at the bar.
This is Brian with Beer Quest, and Quest is only half the fun.
Big Rob, peace out.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Calling all beer snobs, I am B, and you just heard one of our shows. Guess what else you can do? You can find us on the interwebs at Twitter, Facebook, G+, and we're on the Stitcher Radio Network. Be our friend on our social networks to find out what we're up to and find interesting beer articles we're releasing. If you want to advertise with the Beer Snobs, you can contact us at marketing@thebeersnobs.com. If you want to give us beer suggestions, you can find us at info@thebeersnobs.com or any of the social networks you can reach us. And as always, I'll see you at the bar.